So you're flying high then, aren't you? But it comes out of St. Ignatius of Loyola, who founded the Jesuit order, the Society of Jesus. And one thing he strongly recommended, and but is really a good practice for anyone, not just Jesuits. It's called an examen. Okay? And this just means that basically at the end of the day, you look back over the day. Okay? And it doesn't have to be some long, drawn out, exhaustive thing and you remember every little thing that happened. No. That's not the idea. It's just, it's general than that. It shouldn't take a long time. But just briefly examine the day. Where did I walk with the Lord? Where did I not walk with the Lord? Thank God for the blessings of the day. Ask God for help where maybe we haven't walked with Him during the day. Give me strength or help me with such and such or whatever. And this is a good daily practice because what it helps us do when we go to the sacrament of reconciliation is we're much more aware of where we have sinned. And so part of preparing ourselves for the sacrament of reconciliation is to do what we call an examination of conscience, which is basically what we just described. And it's much easier to do when we've been doing a practice like this. We don't have to sit there and, I don't know, I can't think of anything. It's just easier because we know. We know good and well where we haven't walked with the Lord and what we need forgiveness for. Make sense? So it's something that we weave into our day and it just becomes a habit and part of the fabric of our day, frankly, if we keep it up. So I'm glad to put that in there. I'd recommend it. Okay? Since I talked about scrutinies last week, I'm not going to... I don't really know that I have a whole lot more to say about them, unless you have any questions about them. So if you've already been baptized after this Sunday, there's no more rites that you will celebrate until Easter Vigil. Okay? If you're not baptized, you don't do the one this Sunday, but then the successive 3 Sundays after that you do, 3rd, 4th, and 5th Sundays. They'll all be at the 10 o'clock Mass, and they're all pretty short. You just come up after the homily with your sponsor, and the community gathered there will silently pray for you, and then we'll pray out loud for you. And then there's a prayer of exorcism. Okay. All right. So it's pretty short and sweet, really.
We don't have to, us or our sponsors don't necessarily have to do anything this Sunday when we come up front.
No. You don't have to say anything. No. The sponsors they've already given testimony on your behalf. And no, I don't think there's anything. I could be not remembering correctly. It has been a year since I celebrated them. But I don't think you do. I think it's more about us as a community praying for you. And you sort of dig in a little deeper during this period of preparation. Okay? Any other questions about that?
I want to ask you, did you say that just the sponsors come up Sunday?
No, your person you're sponsoring comes up too. Okay. Something I have not mentioned yet, but it's about time to. All of you, baptized or not, will receive the sacrament of confirmation at the Easter Vigil. Okay? And part of the sacrament of confirmation is that you have a saint who will be your particular personal patron saint. Okay? That's part of the practice. So, there's different ways to go about that. If one of your names, even say if it's your middle name, is the same name as a saint, well, you might kind of like them for that reason. Okay, that's fine. That makes perfect sense. But if you don't know anything about that saint, it'd be a good idea to find out something about them between now and the Easter Vigil. There are books. We have some here. We can loan you. There's even some little cards in here that have a little short synopsis of the saint and their life that we use in religious education for kids. You can Google it, find all kinds of stuff online about them, however you want to go about it. Some people would approach it from the standpoint of, well, let's just say, you're a farmer for a living. Well, I'm a farmer, I'd like to find me a saint that has something to do with farming. Okay, there are saints that have something to do with farming. One of the patron saints of farmers is Saint Isidore. So there's more than one, so make sure you get the right one. But Google Saint Isidore, and you'll find out something about him. Okay? There are certainly patron saints for the medical field, quite a number of them, actually. Last year, we had a nurse go through. Know her name as soon as I tried to say it. Kristen Hutchison, it's Lauren's sister. Kristen Joyner now. She's a nurse. And so she found one of the saints is Saint Camillus de Lellis, who is one of the patron saints of nurses and medical professionals. But there's others too. Maybe you're a person, I just really love animals. I have a passion for animals. Okay. Well, St. Francis of Assisi, patron saint of animals. Okay. St. Francis of Assisi. If it's something about your life, your name, you, that's kind of the idea. But here's the real idea. And this goes back to something that we talked about a while back, which is communion of saints. So this will be a little review, I guess. Communion of saints means that people who are already in eternity and us who are here on earth, that we still have a connection, a relationship, a union with them. Death does not sever the relationship. And so these people, a canonized saint is someone who is confirmed, we know for sure that they are in heaven. And so you're establishing a relationship with this person is what you're really doing. Okay, that's the idea here. That this is somebody down the road, if you pick whoever, I don't know, St. Francis de Sales. Say you pick him as your patron saint, confirmation saint. So down the road, if you need some prayers, of course you can pray to God, but it's just like, if I was struggling with something, I'd say, Connie, would you pray for me? Well, now you got somebody in heaven that you can do the same thing. Francis de Sales, hey, pray for me. So we're entering a relationship with this person, is what we're doing. Make sense? Okay, so you do need to have a saint picked out before the Easter Vigil. I'd recommend, making